So student, let us discuss DPP number 1. So DPP number 1, let us start with question number 1. So question number 1 says that, a time period of a body under SHM is represented by, so the time period is represented by pressure raised to, it says A, D is density raised to B, and S is the surface tension raised to C. Alright, so we have not discussed the surface tension before, so I'll just discuss with you. So P is pressure. Alright, so P is pressure, and T, what is T? T is time period, so this will be M0 L raised to 0 and T raised to 1. Okay, is equal to, P is pressure is force upon area, so pressure is force upon area, right? Force is M1 L1 T minus 2 and area is L raised to 2. This will be M1 L minus 1 T minus 2. So this is what we'll substitute here. So M1 L minus 1 T minus 2 raised to A. Okay. Density is mass by volume. So mass by volume. So it will be M raised to 1 by L raised to 3. So M raised to 1 L raised to minus 3, because volume जो होता है उसका यूनिट होता है मीटर क्यूब. ठीक है, वॉल्यूम का यूनिट होता है मीटर क्यूब. सो L raised to 3, so M1 L raised to minus 3. Alright. Okay, and S is surface tension. Surface tension is force upon length. For now you can just memorize this formula, right? We have a separate chapter for surface tension. एक पूरा chapter है कि what is surface tension, but for now you can remember this formula. It is force upon length. So this will become M1 L1 T minus 2 by L raised to 1. So this will be M1 T raised to minus 2. M1 T raised to minus 2. So we'll put that. So density का पहले डाल देते हैं यहाँ पे, M1 L minus 3 raised to B, और फिर surface tension का है M1 T raised to minus 2. So M1 T raised to minus 2 raised to C. Okay, so we have substituted all these things. Now we just have to solve it. So let us solve this equation. Okay, we'll solve this equation. तो ये हो जाएगा M raised to 0 L raised to 0 T raised to 1, और RHS में हो जाएगा M raised to A. ठीक है, I'll just write this, M raised to A L raised to minus A T raised to minus 2A, then M raised to B L raised to minus 3B, then M raised to C and T raised to minus 2C. Okay, so we have three terms for M, so we'll add their powers. We'll get M raised to A plus B plus C, and for L we have two terms. There's two terms of a L, so we'll get L raised to minus A minus 3B, and for T also we have two terms, so we'll get T raised to minus 2A minus 2C. Okay, this is what we have got. You can also check the calculations. Alright, so now we can see in the LHS, right? In the LHS we can see that M raised to 0 is there, and here we have M raised to A plus B plus C. So we have 0 is equal to A plus B plus C. This is the first equation, and we'll also have L raised to 0. So we also have 0 is equal to minus A minus 3B. This is the second equation, and the third equation will be minus 2A minus 2C is equal to 1. Okay, so 1 is equal to minus 2A minus 2C. So this is the third equation. Alright, so now we have to solve these equations and we have to find A, B and C, right? These values we have to find. So what we will do is, from equation number 2, right? From equation number 2 we will get A is equal to minus 3B, right? A is equal to minus 3B. So I'll try to put it here, right? So from equation number 2, right? From equation number 2 I'll get A is equal to minus 3B. Okay, so if I put it here, right, this A is equal to minus 3B, if I put it here in equation number 1, in this equation, then I will get minus 3B plus B plus C equal to 0. That is minus 2B plus C equal to 0. So I get C is equal to 2B, right? I'll get from here C is equal to 2B. Alright, okay, so and so what I'll do is I'll try to substitute this B B in terms of C, this B in terms of C, then I'll get this equation in terms of AC and this also in terms of AC, and I'll solve both the equations to get A and C. Okay, so this is C equal to 2B, so I'll get from here, I'll get B is equal to C by 2, so I'll put it here in equation number 1. Okay, so let me do it here. So using in equation number 1, so equation number 1 is this one, right? So this will become A, this will become A. So in place of B, I'll write C by 2. So C by 2 plus C by 2 will become 3C by 2. So this is equal to 0. So this is A plus 3C by 2 equal to 0. This equation, and I have this equation, right? Minus 2A minus 2C equal this one. So I'll solve these two equations. So I have, I'll write it here. So I have minus 2A minus 2C equal to 1. So these are two equations, right? You can solve these two equations. So I'll not solve it. Also solve karo. From here you'll get A and C. Okay, that's all. And then from here you'll get B. Okay, so this is how you can solve this question. Question number 2 is very, very simple. Let us discuss question number 3. Question number 3 is also very simple. Its answer will be half comma half. Okay, but let us discuss the velocity of a falling body. So it's given that the velocity of a falling body is is proportional to g raised to p and h raised to q. Okay, so it is v is equal to some constant g raised to p and h raised to q. So that's all. We just have to put the values and solve. V is velocity, so this will be m raised to 1 meter per second, so it's L1 t raised to minus 1, and g is acceleration, so it will be L meter per second square L1 t raised to minus 2 raised to p. Height is length, right? So you can write L raised to 1 raised to q. Okay, so that's very simple. So this will be k, and this will be L raised to p t raised to minus 2p, and this will be L raised to q. Okay, so we have to solve this one. Okay, so we'll get k, and this will be L raised to p plus q. Okay, L raised to p plus q, and t raised to minus 2p, t raised to minus 2p. Okay, so let us compare. So here we have L raised to 1, so we'll have 1 is equal to p plus q, and here we have t raised to minus 1, so minus 1, and here t raised to minus 2p, so minus 2p. So from here we'll get p is equal to half. Okay, and while we put this in this, we'll get q also is equal to half. So half comma half is the correct answer for this. Okay, done. Let us discuss question number 4. So in question number 4, the first option given is work and energy. So work and energy, they have same dimensions, as we've already discussed it many times, right? We've already discussed it many times. So let us come to B option. B option is angle and strain. So angle is basically the theta, right? Plane angle. And we know that plane angle, right, it has a unit, but it does not have any dimension. So plane angle has a unit, that is radian, but it has no dimension, right? It is dimensionless. And similarly, we also have discussed about strain, right? About the strain is also dimensionless quantity, because strain is basically change in dimension upon change in length upon length. This kind of thing is there. So this is also dimensionless. So basically the angle and the strain both are dimensionless. Okay, both are dimensionless, so they have the same dimensions. Let us talk about relative density. So relative density is basically the comparison of two densities, so that is also going to be dimensionless. And refractive index is of course dimensionless. When we talk about Planck's constant and energy, so let us talk about that. So Planck's constant can be derived from E equal to h mu. This also we have already discussed in the lectures, right? E equal to h mu. So from here we'll get h is equal to E by mu. H is equal to E by mu, right? So this will be, E will be m1 L raised to 2 T raised to minus 2. This is energy. And frequency. So frequency is basically 1 by time period, right? So it's T raised to minus 1. that is frequency. So we'll put here t raised to minus 1. So the dimensional formula for Planck's constant will be m1 L raised to 2 and t raised to minus 1, right? Because if you take this minus 1 up, minus 2 plus 1 will become basically only minus 1, right? So we can see this is the dimensional formula for Planck's constant, whereas for energy it is m1 L raised to 2 t raised to minus 2. So D is the option in which the given physical quantities do not have the same dimensions. Okay, so D will be the answer for that. Let us discuss question number 7. So in question number 7, okay, a small steel ball of radius r is allowed to fall under gravity through a column of a viscous liquid of coefficient of viscosity eta. So there is a steel ball. So this is, you know, a liquid column, and there is a steel ball. So the radius of the steel ball is r, okay, and the coefficient of viscosity of this liquid is eta. After some time the velocity of the ball attains a constant value. So after some times its velocity becomes constant, that is terminal velocity, and the terminal velocity depends on mass of the ball, right? The terminal velocity depends on the mass of the ball, it depends on the coefficient of viscosity, it depends on the acceleration due to gravity, and it depends on the radius. 4 things. All right, so we have to find out which relation is the correct one. Okay, so now we cannot find out this relation directly. Why we cannot find it directly? Because there are 4 physical quantities, m, eta, g and r. So therefore we cannot find it directly, we cannot derive it. If it were only 3 quantities, right, then we could have derived it, you know, but now there are 4. So what we have to do, we'll have to check the options. So let us start with the first option. So the first option is terminal velocity is equal to mg by eta r. So what we'll do, we'll check the LHS and RHS. If their dimensions are same, then right, we have discussed that if it is dimensionally correct, then it may be physically also correct. So that's why we'll check the dimensional, you know, we'll balance the dimension, we'll check LHS and RHS. If they have the same dimension, then that option will be the correct option. Okay, so let us start with the first option. So for velocity, the dimensional formula is L1 t raised to minus 1. So if the RHS, right, if this RHS also gives the same dimensional formula, then this option would be correct. Okay, so let us start. So m is mass, so we know for mass it is m raised to 1. G is acceleration due to gravity, so it's L raised to 1 t raised to minus 2. For eta we'll have to find out. We know that force F is equal to 6 pi r eta v. Okay, so first we'll derive this. For force it is m raised to 1 L raised to 1 t raised to minus 2. 6 pi is a numerical, it's a constant, so that will be dimensionless. R is the radius, so R will be L raised to 1. Eta we'll have to find out its dimensional formula, so we'll keep it as it is, and velocity is L1 t raised to minus 1. So from here we will get the dimensional formula of eta, and that will be, so you can see this, right, that will be m raised to 1, right, and L raised to 1, L raised to 2, so it will be L raised to minus 1, right, and this is t raised to minus 2, t raised to minus 1. So this, when you divide by t raised to minus 1, it will go up, so it will become t raised to minus 1. So this is what we will get for eta. Okay, so this will be m raised to 1, L raised to minus 1 and t raised to minus 1. Okay, and then we have r, so r is L raised to 1. Okay, so this is m raised to 1 will be cancelled out. Okay, and this L raised to minus 1 and 1 will be cancelled out. So, and this will be t raised to minus 1. So the first option itself, right, we can see that the first option itself is matching. All right, so the first option itself is the answer. Okay, other options, if you check like this, it will not match. I'll just show you one more option. I'll show you the option, I'll show you the second option, right? Let us take the second option. Second option is Vt is proportional to, this is r eta by mg, or eta r by mg. So let us check, let us put the values. So if you put this eta, this will be m1 L minus 1 t minus 1, and then for r is basically length, so L raised to 1. divide by m, that is m raised to 1, and g is acceleration due to gravity, L raised to 1 t raised to minus 2. So now let us try to solve it. So m will be cancelled out, this L is cancelled out, so we will get L raised to minus 1 and we'll get t raised to plus 1. So we have got the opposite one. What we required was L raised to 1 t raised to minus 1, but we have got L raised to minus 1 and t raised to 1, so this does not match. So the first option matches. Similarly, if you check for the third option and the fourth option, they will not match with this. So only if the LHS and RHS, if their dimensions are matching, then this formula could be the correct formula. So I hope you have understood. So A would be the answer for this, or A is the answer for this. All right. Okay students, so now let us discuss question number 8, right? It's a very important question. So question number 8. So in this question, we have been given with this x is equal to epsilon naught L V by T. So what we will do is we will substitute here epsilon naught, the dimensional formula for epsilon naught, for L, for V and T, and we'll just try to find out what is this x. So let us start with let us first find out epsilon naught. So we have this F is equal to Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught R square, right? This is the formula for the electric force. So we'll try to find out epsilon naught from here. So you can see this force is m1 L1 t raised to minus 2. Charge is current into time, right? This formula is there. Current is equal to charge by time. So charge is current into time. So it will be current is a raised to 1, time is t raised to 1. So square of that. So from here you take this epsilon naught here, right, and bring this force ka dimensional formula here below. Just solve it. When you solve this, right, this will become a raised to 2 t raised to 2, and this is m1 L1 t raised to minus 2, and this L raised to 2 for R square, which we had written. So this thing is there. So when you solve this, right, what you will get is m raised to minus 1 and L. So you have this L1 and L raised to 2, so you'll get L raised to minus 3, and you have this is t raised to plus 2, this is t raised to minus 2, so this will go up, be added to it, become t raised to 4, and this is a raised to 2. So this is the dimensional formula for epsilon naught. So this is m raised to minus 1, L raised to minus 3, t raised to 4, and a raised to 2. Okay, so this is what we have got for epsilon naught. Now we also have to find out V. V is the potential difference. So I have already discussed that in the class, that the potential difference is given by its formula is work done upon charge. So this is W upon Q. Okay, so this we have already discussed. So this is W upon Q. Now work done is the dimensional formula of work is same as that of energy. So it will be m1 L raised to 2 t raised to minus 2, and charge is current into time, so it's a1 t1. So when we solve this, right, when we solve this, we will get m raised to 1, we'll get L raised to 2, t, this will go up and become t raised to minus 3, and this will become a raised to minus 1. So this is what we'll get for work, for potential. Now we'll put this potential, epsilon naught, everything here in the first equation, and we'll try to find out what is x. So let us put it here. So it will become m raised to 1, L raised to minus 3, t raised to 4, a raised to 2 in place of epsilon naught. L is the length, so L raised to 1. V is the potential, so it will be m1 L raised to 2 t raised to minus 3 a raised to minus 1 divided by time, that is t raised to 1. When you solve this, you will get only a raised to 1. That is the dimensional formula for current. So the answer would be current. Alright, so I hope it is clear, right? You might have understood this. So you can do this question by one more method. Actually, there's one more formula for capacitance. Capacitance is basically epsilon naught A by D. Okay, so this is A is area, D is the distance between the two plates of the capacitor. So I'll just write distance. Okay, and epsilon naught is its permittivity. So epsilon naught area ka L raised to 2 or iska L raised to 1. So E naught L. So the dimension of E naught L is same as capacitance. So in this question, we can replace, this is x is equal to, we have epsilon naught L V by T. So we can replace this with the dimension of capacitance. So this will be C V by T, and CV is charge because Q is equal to CV. Alright, so this will become Q by T, and that will become current. So this is one more way we can do it, but for this you should know that capacitance is epsilon naught A by D. Then only you can do it. Okay, so I have told you two methods. So this is method number 2. Okay, so let us go to the next question. let us go, check out question number 9. So in question number 9 is given mu naught and epsilon naught. Mu naught and epsilon naught, we know the permittivity, what is the dimension of mu naught epsilon naught. So for this also you must know one formula, that is speed of light, right? Speed of light is given by 1 by under root mu naught epsilon naught. So if you know this formula, you can easily find out. All right, so from here c square, right, c square will be 1 by mu naught epsilon naught, and if you take it here and bring it here, so you will get mu naught epsilon naught is equal to 1 by c square. So c is velocity of light, so velocity is L1 t raised to minus 1 raised to 2. So this will become 1 by L raised to 2 t raised to minus 2, which will become L raised to minus 2 t raised to plus 2. So this will be the answer. So this is method 1. This is the first method by which you can do, okay, that is if you know that the speed of light is equal to 1 by mu naught epsilon naught. So that is the best way, easiest and fastest. But if you don't know this values, and if you want to substitute the value of mu naught and epsilon naught, so that also can be done. We have already found epsilon naught, I think, in question number 8, and if we just find mu naught, we can also put that. So that is another way. I'll just show you that also, method 2 also. So let us use method 2. So method 2 is basically we know that the speed of light is equal to 1 by under root mu naught epsilon naught. So we will find out mu naught and we will find out epsilon naught separately. Alright, and then we'll put it in this formula and then we'll get the answer. So that is how we will do it. Okay, actually we don't have to find this, we have to just find the value of mu naught E naught. So this formula is also not required. We'll just find out mu naught, we'll find out epsilon naught, and then we'll find out their product. Okay, that's all. So epsilon naught we have already found, right? We have found this using F is equal to Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. I'll directly write down what we had got. Okay, what is epsilon naught equal to? So I've written it directly from question number 8. This is m raised to 1, l raised to minus 3, and t raised to 4, a raised to 2. Now we'll find out mu naught. So how do we find out mu naught? So for this we will use one more formula, that is, so that process will be a lengthy because we'll have to use two formula here. First we'll have to use magnetic field, that is magnetic field is equal to mu naught by 4 pi is into I into length by 4 pi and then sine theta 4 pi r square. This is one formula we will have to use. Okay, so in this formula, this dB is magnetic field, this dB is magnetic field, mu naught is permeability, that we'll have to find out. This is dimensionless, I is current, so I is current, dl is length, you can note down all these things, dl is length, and sine theta, this whole thing is dimensionless, this is dimensionless, just like 4 pi, right? So from here we'll get this is, I'll just write it as B. dB is a small magnetic field and dl is a small length, but this is magnetic field, this is length. All right, we are going to discuss about this d in the next chapter, that is derivative after trigonometry. All right, so this is magnetic field, so I'll just write it as B. Okay, B, and mu naught I'll have to find out. 4 pi is dimensionless, I'll put 1. I is current, I'll put a raised to 1. dl is length, I'll put l raised to 1. Sine theta is dimensionless, I'll put 1, and r square will be l raised to 2. So this is about B. Okay, but in this there is one unknown, and that unknown is, there are two unknowns, one is B, one is mu naught, so we'll also have to find B. So we'll have to use one more equation, that is force is equal to QVB. So we'll use this and we'll find out B and we'll put it here. So let this be equation number 1, let this be 2. So let us solve this equation number 2. So in equation number 2, force we already know, so that is m raised to 1, l raised to 1, t raised to minus 2. Okay, so that is force is equal to, charge is current into time, so a1 t raised to 1, and velocity is l raised to 1 t raised to minus 1 into b. So from here we will get the formula for B, and we'll put it here in equation number 1, and we'll get mu naught and then from this mu naught and E epsilon naught we'll multiply them to get the final answer, right? I'm sure you can do it right now, you can do it yourself, but still let's do it. Okay, so this will be, you know, B will come out to be equal to, this will be m raised to 1, and this L raised to 1 and this L raised to 1 will be cancelled out, and this T raised to 1 and T raised to minus 1 will also cancel. So this will be m1 L raised to 0, T raised to minus 2, and A will be there taken that side, A raised to minus 1. So this is your magnetic field. Now put it here, right? If you put it here, you will get for mu naught, right? You'll get the answer for mu naught. So I'll just put it here. So in place of B, I'll write m raised to 1, T raised to minus 2, A raised to minus 1. Okay. Okay. So now this will be L raised to minus 1, and I'll solve it to get for mu naught. So mu naught will come out to be m raised to 1, right? You can also try solving. So m raised to 1, T raised to minus 2, so T raised to minus 2, okay, and A, if you take this A, that's it, it will be A raised to minus 2, so A raised to minus 2, and L, if you take it, that's it, you have to basically multiply, so it will be L raised to minus 1 only. Okay, so check it out once again. Okay, so this is L raised to plus 1, okay, plus 1, so it will be L raised to plus 1. So m raised to 1, L raised to plus 1, T raised to minus 2, and A raised to minus 2. This is what we are going to get. Okay, so this is m raised to 1, so m raised to 1, T raised to minus 2, T raised to minus, because there are no other T terms, and A raised to, there are 2 terms, so A raised to minus 2, and L raised to plus 1. That's what we're going to get. So we have got this. Now let us multiply this two. Okay, when we multiply this two, m will be cancelled out, and what? And L raised to minus 3 and L raised to plus 1 will become L raised to minus 2, and T raised to 4, and this will become T raised to 2. So this is, see, we have got the answer, and A will be cancelled out. So we have got the answer. So this is going to be answer if you multiply epsilon naught and mu naught. Okay. So question number 12. So if you know this formula that the energy of the capacitor is half CV square, so you will know that the dimensional formula for CV square will be that same as that of energy, m1 L1 T raised to minus 2. But for that you'll have to know this formula, that this is the energy stored in the capacitor. Okay, and the energy stored in the inductor is given by half Li square. So only if you know this formula, you'll know that Li square, its dimensional formula will be same as that of energy, that is m1 L2 T minus 2. So for now you can just try to remember this formula, and there is one more method, and the another method is you just find out dimension of C and V, put it here, you'll get this, and find dimension of L and I, put it here and get this. So we already discussed how to find dimension of L in our class notes, so you can use that. So that will be the method 2. Alright, so this is question number 12. Okay, so let us discuss question number 13. Okay, so question number 13. There are some people called as Martians. They use force, acceleration and time as fundamental quantities. So we have to find length in terms of this. So let length be proportional to F raised to A raised to B, and T raised to C. That's what you have to just solve and find ABC. I'm sure you can do that, right? So but still I'll just do it once. So this is L raised to 1. So m raised to 0, L raised to 1, T raised to 0 is equal to constant force is m1 L1 T minus 2 raised to A. Acceleration is meter per second square, L raised to 1, T raised to minus 2 raised to B, and time is obviously a time, so T raised to C. So my dear friends, solve this. So this will become K m raised to A. So there's only one term, so m raised to A, LK, two terms are there, L raised to A and L raised to B, so A plus B, T के तीन terms है, minus 2A minus 2B plus C. So I skipped one step. Just compare this. You can see here A comes out to be 0 because m raised to 0 and m raised to A, and A plus B comes out to be 1. So basically B comes out to be 1 because A is 0. So you got A is equal to 0 and you got B is equal to 1. Okay, and if you use this in this, you know, time is minus 2A minus 2B plus C equal to 0. So A is 0, B is 1, so minus 2 plus C equal to 0, you get C is equal to 2. So you have got ABC equal to 2. So length is going to be equal to force. It does not depend on force because it is F raised to 0, and acceleration raised to B, so A raised to 1, and T raised to C, C is 2, so it's 8T square. Alright, So D option is the correct option, right? So you can take D option as the correct option. All right, students, let's go.